This is what the right-wing takeover of a progressive college looks like. Hallelujah, and not a day too soon. Although, to be fair, the turnaround has actually been remarkably quick. It took the progressives decades to infiltrate, subvert, and take over the institutions that are now slowly but surely being reclaimed. And yet, in less than a decade, not only were they halted, but at least in part, as we are seeing here, the rout has already begun. The backlash has been astoundingly swift, and I am sure right now, as articles like this indicates, they're beginning to be rather worried about what happens next. Because here's the thing, why are we getting an article like this? A rather panicky article. This is what the right-wing takeover will look like. What? There's going to be fascists marching in the corridors, surely. You'll have swastikas everywhere. Transgender students will be hounded up and shot on the campus, surely. Well, no. In fact, over the course of the 6 months of the right-wing takeover, very little has actually changed. In fact, classes that probably should have been yeeted are still available. Like, for example, Politics of the African Diaspora and the Alternatives to Capitalism class. Oh. Yeah, that sounds like a worthwhile college degree to have right there. So what's your education like? Well, it's about Africa and alternatives to capitalism. That's the door closing in your face, incidentally. But beyond that, and the firing of some diversity officers, not a whole lot has actually changed beyond scraping the gender-neutral signs off the bathrooms, which we will get back to because that is one of the coolest points in all of this, honestly. So, why the panic? Why the angst? Well, it is because progressives, whether they realize it or not, understand exactly what is happening here. They know why they infiltrated the institutions, English, in the start with. They did this because they recognized it would have actual power. They could begin to indoctrinate the next generation of young people into classes like the politics of the African diaspora and alternatives to capitalism, a highly politically charged course, as I don't think I need to explain, really. And with control over the next generation, they would have control over the next generation's politics, which would in turn give them power over, well, damn near everything, as that is exactly what progressivist ideology is all about, asking for more, and more. To them, the takeover of colleges and institutions like it was a weapon. And now, they're seeing the weapon they created in the hands of their enemies, and there's a glint of understanding in the right wing's eye as they hold this bludgeon and they go, yeah, this is a weapon. And it is meant to be used against my enemies. Thank you for the education on that. And the bludgeon is now swinging the other way, which is why this thing here is so very interesting. Okay, so the worst thing the right-wing takeover has done is scrape the gender-neutral signs of the bathrooms. This was such an event that apparently tons of students paused and they were clicking pictures. Oh, this is the thing. This is the great Holocaust happening right here. This is the transgender genocide. And sending it off by the dozens to this newspaper reporter. Why? It's a bathroom sign. It is literally a thing on the wall going, hey, we shit and piss over here. Please keep your waste in the same area for easy disposal. That is what the bathroom sign indicates. But that is, of course, not what it means to the progressives. The fact that you have a gender-neutral bathroom is a sign of conquest. It is a sign that they had taken over this space and the surrounding territory, and it is now theirs, and it operates by their rules. Now, hold on, Arch. Sounds like a bit of a stretch, don't you think? No, because here's the thing. What does this mean? What is a bathroom, first and foremost? Well, as mentioned, it is a place to put your pee-pee and your poo-poo so that it doesn't infect everybody else. But in the modern world, it is also a private space. We segregate it based on genders because, well, this is where you get your genitalia out and you do your thing, your embarrassing, dirty, filthy thing that you don't want other people of the opposite gender to see. Hell, you don't even want other people of the same gender to see it half the time, which is why you have cubicles, etc. It is a very private space, and it is a traditionally gender-segregated space. The left can then move in and go, hold on, no. You see, we have determined through our political ideology that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man whenever they so please and use whichever bathroom they so please, whenever, however, and whichever way they please. You could see a blatant dude standing in the girls' toilet having a piss, with his cock and testicles on display in front of everybody, and not only is that okay, it is empowering, it is something to be celebrated, and it is obviously 100% against the base norm understanding of what a bathroom is supposed to be. Thus, the gender-neutral bathroom sign is a sign literally saying, this is what we own. We have enforced our ideology, our worldview and perceptions onto you, and we have made it official. We have made it the rules and the laws of the land that you must bend the knee to us. And that is also why they get so unreasonably aggressive when it is removed, why it is such a big deal. Most of these students couldn't probably articulate what I just said, but they know, like they see it like, oh my god, I must photograph this. This is the worst thing ever. And hell, an example from just a few days ago, when a transgender student, the massive one here, beat the shit out of a girl because he had gone into the girl's bathroom to do his thing, which the girls objected to, for some clearly bigoted reason. Well, he got aggressive, because it was not what you do. You are now questioning the superiority of the ideology, and you must therefore be beaten to a pulp by a blatantly physically superior man using the woman's bathroom. It is a sign of conquest, and yet it is also apparently the only thing that the right-wing takeover has really done here. Now, the class we mentioned earlier, the whole alternatives to capitalism and the African diaspora thing, they fear that this will now be taboo, that these studies might one day be removed. We can only hope, because apparently Florida is also introducing legislation, quote, that it makes it illegal to teach subjects based on theories that systemic racism, sexism, oppression, and privilege are inherent in the institutions of the United States. Okay. Like, that doesn't sound very objectionable, because they're not supposed to be. Like, racism, sexism, oppression, privilege, etc., these are not things that are held up as particular virtues by the United States. They're not enshrined by law by any real degree. You do not have privilege of other people on your school as one student to another. Sexism is not allowed. In fact, it is in many cases illegal. Racism most surely is. And so teaching that these are all just the very idea. You are sitting in your African diaspora and alternatives to capitalism class, being taught about how your school is inherently racist, sexist, and oppressive. It literally doesn't pass the first flush, doesn't it? Like, you immediately know this isn't the case, and this is why they need to indoctrinate you for 3+ years to make you think that it is finally the case. And will it be illegal? Well, I sure hope so, frankly, because, again, that weapon, they know what the weapon is. They know that they would use a law like this against you, and so they fear that, oh, well, shit, this is our tactics. They're using our tactics against us. We know this playbook because we wrote it and we've already applied it. And that is exactly why they are scared of it. There has also been some student protests, not a whole lot apparently. In fact, for the vast majority of the students, apparently nothing has actually changed, because beyond getting rid of the activism nonsense, and even that, not all of it, well, the right wing doesn't appear to have any particular problems with anyone at the school. They're not kicking out the black students, they're not oppressing the transgender students. Beyond not letting them piss in the opposite gender's bathroom, I do suppose, it just seems to be a regular school now. But God help us, they're bringing in ideas such as traditional sports and athleticism to the school. Oh no, sports as an optional thing you could do if you wanted to. How will the quirky genderqueer students survive? Who even knows? And I take personal offense at this thing, by the way. Before Wednesday's board meeting, about 75 people held a protest outside, saying, quote, "We're nerds and geeks, not jocks and Greeks," said one sign, in opposition to the introduction of sports and fraternities. You are not nerds, and you are not geeks. You do not even understand the meaning of those two words. Those two words are insults. They were used as insults against me, for example. I'm both of these things, because when I was young and I had these hobbies, tabletop gaming, video gaming, comics, etc., the shit that you then moved in, ruined, took over, and tried to kick the people who were already in those hobbies out of, you are now saying that you are the geeks and the nerds? No. No, you are not. That is terms that were used as, well, put downs, as insults, that we took and turned into something positive only after decades of working on it. After only making quality goods good enough to make you outside pieces of shit waffle in and try to take it over. So no, you are not nerds, and you are not geeks. You are activists and cringe-ass wokists. Those are your terms. Let's see if you can reclaim them at some point. Best of luck to you. It's, and I love this one too. So, he and his allies, referring to the Florida governor and the people making the school into a not asshole place to be, haven't built anything new at New College yet. They are succeeding, however, in tearing something down. Precisely. Because the college institution in and of itself doesn't need tearing down. It doesn't need reinventing. It is the wheel. You don't need to reinvent it. You just need to make sure it turns. And if you've got an enormous spike in it called progressivism, well, tear that down, get it out, and who knows, maybe the wheel will turn again. It's a crazy idea, I know, but in reality, this is exactly what I would like for the right-wing takeover of institutions to look like. Not like they are building new institutions in their own image like the left did, but rather move in, clean out what they corrupted them with, tear down the shit and the garbage, throw it out, and then go, well, it seems to be back to normal now. Let's head back home again. Our job is done. That would be the ideal outcome. What we really don't want to see is, well, them doing, again, exactly what the wokists did, and move in and go, yeah, I think we are going to take this particular page out of the playbook and really, really double down on this bitch. Because whilst that might be cathartic, at least for a while, I do suspect we would just be exchanging one oppressor for another, but so far, there doesn't appear to be any real sign of that happening. All in all, I applaud the current actions of Florida and its governor, and I do indeed hope that many, many states will follow suit after this, as the apparent plan is. Good. Very good. And not to mention, when you see the fear in your opponent's eyes as you hold the thing they insisted was completely harmless, well, you know you're doing the right thing, aren't you? Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.